Hello everybody. As you know, we lost the recorded content for the classless subnetting. So we're going to re-recording this part of mm, CCNA, and we're going to start from the class C subnetting, how we have to do the classless subnetting in that. So let's every IP we have 4 octet. So I'm going to show you the first octet, this one. So I'm not going to write complete, this is the first octet. And we have then second octet. Okay. And then we have third octet. And the fourth octet is interested octet. Interested octet. What do you mean by interested octet? Interested octet going to be part for your host id, means host bits, where is all three first, second and third octet going to be part of your network octet. So these three network octet, where is the last one is host octet. So in class C we now we have /24. So we can go for whiteboard. Let's So we know class C we have /24 CIDR. Let me age this part. Okay, so we have /24, means if you see we have 3 octet. So first octet 8-bit for the network bit, second octet same way network bit, third octet same way network bit, last 8-bit going to responsible for host bit, that host bit. So that's why these three combination, it's for the /24. It's going to show like that. So let's start calculation one by one, how we going to complete this. So here you have to concentrate on the part of the table, which how many bit we going to borrow. So we have host bit 8-bit. We have 8-bit in the host. So I'm going to make it 4 pair, the best practice. And this first bit going to borrow from the host bit into the network bit. This is going to borrow into network bit. So how many host bit going to left? Is a 7, and 1 bit going to add into the network. So we have network bit 8-bit plus 1 host bit going to be added. That's going to make it classless. That we have now network bit 25-bit. This is the first subnetting we are doing. If we borrow 8-bit like that, we will follow for the, we will keep borrow 1 bit, and we will do subnetting for each bit once we move from host bit to the network bit. So my network bit going to keep increasing by 1 bit, and the host bit going to keep decreasing by the 1 bit. And we will see each and every condition how the classless subnetting going to work. Clear guys? Now, so let's one example. We will start with the example so that it's going to be more clear about this. So let me erase it, this part, and come to cancel. Okay, so we are here. First I'm going to take example 192.168.0 and my interested bit we going to expand that to 0, so I can write in 8-bit format. Remaining I will keep in decimal network bit. I'm going to expand only the host bit. So we have 8 host bit, so we going to get 0 0 0 0. So I'm going to represent 8 zeros over here. We have this many host bit, we going to borrow 1 bit. So what going to be my CIDR /25? As soon as we going to borrow 1 bit from 24 to 25. So I'm going to give the different color symbols, so it's going to be very clear. These all are my host bit 7, and this green one is going to become, I'm going to do green one. This is my, it's this 1 bit going to be in the third octet, not in third octet, it will be in fourth octet, but it's going to be part of the network bit. So it's going to be 192.168.0 1 bit for the network. That's going to be constant, it's going to be work as a network bit. Remaining 7 bit going to work as a host bit. If you borrow 1 bit, what going to be happen, network bit going to be 24 plus 1, it's going to be 25. So CIDR going to be 25. That's why it's called classless inter-domain routing. Now how many bit we borrow? 1 bit. In this case we borrow 1 bit only, so 1 bit we borrowed. So network, how many network going to generate? Suppose, what do you mean by this? This says that if you have /24 one network, if you borrow 1 bit, how many within one network, how many network sub network going to be happened? So if we borrow 1 bit, it going to give you in the calculation of, let's go to whiteboard, let's understand. If we borrow 1 bit, if you borrow 1 bit, what going to be happened? So this is calculation going to be happen 2 to the power how many bit you borrow. We borrow 1 bit and this give you the 2. Means if you borrow 1 bit, it's going to separate into 2 equal network. 2 equal network, they're going to divide into 2 equal network, means we're going to get the 2 networks here. And same way for host, you have to calculate how many bit remaining. So I have remaining 7 bit because 1 bit here, so remaining 7 bit. This is the 7 bit remaining. So your host will be 2 to the power 7 minus 1, sorry, minus 2. 1 for network, 1 for network, 1 for broadcast. We have done already lab for broadcast and network ID, you know that. So 1 for broadcast, 1 for network, and remaining the actual host. So what will be the value of total? 2 to the power 7. If you remember from the table, we have a standard calculation of the 2 to the power 7. It's going to give you 128. 128 minus 2, it will be 126 valid host going to be left in that network. Each and every network means we have 2 separate network, and each network contained 126 valid host. I'm going to erase this and going to keep this update. So let's update into. So how many network? 2 network. How do we got? 2 to the power 1 bit borrow, and 2 to the power 7 the remaining bit host going to give per network. We have 2 equal network, and each network we have 128 minus 2, that's going to give you 126 valid host. So two going to show you is the network IP. First IP going to belong to network IP and last IP going to belong to broadcast IP. So what going to be my network IP? That's important. Let's do that calculation. And the network IP, how do you get the network IP? So first IP your network IP and the last IP going to be your broadcast IP. So there is a how we are getting in the bitwise. Also there is one more method by which you will understand by bitwise. What do you mean by bitwise? You can able to get it. Let's understand that part also, that's very important. If you borrow one bit, so how many combination do you have for one bit? You have two combination. First one 0, second combination only we have two combination. Same way, if you borrow 2 bit, you have two combination 0 0 0 1 1 0 and 1 1. Clear guys? So we have four combination, but we right now we are talking about this. So one network going to belong if first bit going to be 0 and second network belong if the bit will be 1. Okay, so how do you get your network ID? So from bit byte is going to be very clear. Let's check it out. How do I get the first network ID? So as I told you, first bit going to be my 0. My network bit going to be 0. If it's a 0, yes. If this is 0, okay, now it's selected. If it's a 0, then one combination. So we have borrowed one bit. To this position going to be two options 0 and 1. 0 and 1. So what are the option? If it's a 0, it will give you entire 0. The decimal value will be 0. Means first bit going to be network bit 0 and all remaining will be 0 0 0. It will give you first network ID, that's a 0. Second network ID, it's a 1 and all 0 0 0. Because you know the network ID always come out, so all the host going to be 0 because it's the first IP. So 128. Same way for broadcast we already studied. All the one means last IP, means last host. So all the 7 host bit going to be 1, and this two position you have to get broadcast. First will be this, give you first broadcast. Okay, about this is 127 is the broadcast IP, and the same way for the second network it will give you 1 and it will keep all the host bit as your 1. So it will give you 1255. So we got the broadcast IP as well as my network IP. And between this all the combination, if you see 0 to 1, all the combination, it's going to give you your valid host. First home valid host, last valid host, means one IP before broadcast will be the last valid host, and the one IP after the network ID it will give you first. And how do you got the subnet marks? Subnet marks, it's again depend upon your bit combination. So highest value of your, this will give you your subnet highest value. So your network ID going to be first network ID 127, it's going to be subnet marks of. Okay, sorry, this will be the your subnet, means network ID of the your last network ID of your last network. So here we have two network, so we are going to get for that network. Means this will be your 120 will be your subnet. So let me summarize. So you have to check your how many bit you borrowed. So here one bit borrowed, so we have two options, 0 and 1, because one bit having these two options. And your network will start first network from 0 and next network from. Okay, so we will do one more example and we will see that. Let's complete this table first. I'm going to erase this and we'll follow the same rule for the next step, so that is going to be very clear. So let's do that. So one bit borrowed, two network, because 0 and 1 two options, and how many bits left? 7 bit, so 2 to the power 7, that many. Okay, now network ID as we calculate, it will be 192.168.0.0, because the first bit was 0, and second we just calculate 192.168.0.128. okay, 0.128. This is, so we have two network ID with this, and we got the broadcast ID. If you remember, 192.168.0.127. all the first bit going to be 0, all the 0 is going to become 1. And the subnet marks, this is the last network ID part, this part going to be the your subnet. So 255 remaining, all the 255.255.128. How you will get this? One bit you borrowed, so what is the position of the one bit? So you have to cross this. So what will be the position? 128. That is your subnet. Let's do one more example, and okay, let me complete this. The second 192.168.0.255. This is the last network broadcast. What will be the first IP? 192.168.0.1, and the last IP before the broadcast IP, that's 192.168.0.126. So this is my first valid host and this is my last valid host. So all the IP between in this belong to this network within this broadcast. Okay, same way for this we have network IP 192.168.0.129 going to be the first IP, and second IP going to be last IP going to be 192.168.0.254. And of course all these are the same subnet because they belong to same subnetting. Till here clear? Okay, now so same way we're going to start for the, if we borrow 2 bit, if we going to borrow 2 bit, what going to be happen? So let's do that. So I'm going to take same example, but we're going to borrow this time 2 bit 168.0. This is going to be constant, and the only the interested octet going to be change. So this time we're going to borrow 2 bit as a network and remaining all the bit for the host. So 2 bit I'm going to borrow, so these 2 bit I'm going to do the green and bold, this 2 bit borrowed. What going to be happened if 2 bit borrowed? So 24 plus 2, that CIDR going to be happen 26, and we are how many bit we are borrowing? 2. And how many network? It's going to be 4. How it's going to be 4? We will see that. And how many remaining? 64 into minus 2 is going to give you 62. Let's do the calculation how it's a happen. So select this, come to how many bit borrowed, that's important. So we borrowed 2 bit and we have total how many bits, 8 bit, any octet having 8 bit. These are the whole host bit and 2 bit borrowed in the network. So if you borrow 2 bit, what are the combination use of 2 bits? So 00, 01, 10, 11, these 4 combination means this 4 combination will give you 4 networks. So 2 to the power 2, 2 to the power, you can calculate by mathematics also 2 to the power, because we borrow 2 bits. So 2 to the power 2, it's give you 4 network. Okay. Now, so bitwise, if you borrow 2 bit, so what's the max combination that give you the network? What's the combination? What's the complete host bit? If you add, what you will get here? So if you add all the bits, so you have to know the position of this 2 to the power 0, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. So this part is 64 and you have this, so you going to rotate off 64. So this value going to give you total of this position value, you have 4 positions. Okay, so how many bits? 64 minus 2. So first lowest going to be your network ID, and the highest going to be broadcast ID. So let's do the calculation. What will be my first network again? So we have first network as a 00, second network 01, third network 10, and fourth network 11. And from here we will get the network and broadcast, network and broadcast, network and broadcast. So for network is the first IP, lowest IP, and the broadcast for highest, sorry, highest. Same way, so you have to do same way and you will get your broadcast and the network. So what will be my first network? Of course this will give you 0, because entire network and host is 0. Then this value will be the ones complement of 64. If this position is 64, this will give you 63. Okay, this is my first network. Second network, same way, it will give you the, you will start entire this position is 64, and this is ones complement of 128, it going to be 126. Please practice ones complement what we have already teaching. Now this is entire 000 network bit, it's going to give you 128, and this is these 2 bit after that is entire. So we have 63, this is 190. You practice it, you will get. Now 192 do again, these are all 0, 192, we have. Okay, so let's complete my table. So let me complete my table. Okay, so my first network will be 192.168.0.0. What will be my second network? 192.168.0.64. My third network 192.168.0.128, and my fourth network 192.168.0.190. So as I said, subnet marks is the highest network ID. So my subnet mark is going to be 255.25.255.19. That's the easiest way, and subnet mark is going to be same for entire sub. So let's do what will be my first IP 192.168. Sorry, 0.1. That's my first IP. And last IP again 192.168.0. Because we have here broadcast IP 63, you can see here. So 62 will be my the last IP, and the broadcast IP dot 0.1, that will be 163. Same way we have broadcast IP. Let's complete the broadcast IP 192.168.0. We have 127, and the next 192.168.0. We have 191, and last one 192.1.0. So this way we are able to complete 192.68. So this is going to be 65, and the same way 192. So 192 dot, so 126, right? 192 dot 168. So this will be 129, and 192 dot, again I'm going to tab it, and this will be 190.419. I have completed the table this way. 190 will be the first IP, and the last IP one is going to be same before the. So this way you have to complete the entire, you can try for the um, while you will borrow the 3-bit and 4-bit. So next class we're going to borrow 3-bit, and the 4-bit we will see how it's going to complete for the next level subnet. So please practice and get back with the questions. Post it your questions in Google Classroom. I will check it out and give you the practice session for in Excel so that you can. Okay, bye bye. See you in next class.